Hello everyone, thank you for tuning into today's audio video. Welcome to Pretty Privilege. I'm your host, Tenemane. Let's get into today's topic. 3 methods to compound spiritual interest. Let me first start off by explaining what compound interest is. Compound interest is the interest on a deposit or loan that is calculated based on the initial principal and the accumulated interest from previous periods. In simple terms, for example, say you have $100 deposited in a bank account that earns 5% interest. That would be $5. Compound interest now adds your original $100 plus the amount of 5%, the $5, now leaving you with $105. That $5 did not have to be added in by you because compound interest took care of that. The biggest takeaway from compounding interest is the longer you allow your original amount to go untouched, the more money you will accumulate. Regardless of the original amount, big or small, the fact of the matter is the amount will always be growing. Okay, so I know you're like, Tenemane, what does this have to do with compounding spiritual interest? How does it correlate if I'm not investing money? That's right, your investment is not money. It's time and energy. And what you decide to do with them will decipher the amount of compounding spiritual interest you are then left with. Spend it stupidly, it passes by and you cannot get it back. But if you spend it wisely, now you're improving on yourself, and in correlation to compounding interest, it becomes a domino effect to better habits and actions in your life. Compounding spiritual interest is the accumulation of positive and consistent daily habits that bring happiness and safety within our spiritual lives. Yes, it has to do with protecting our energy and serves as an immune booster for the soul. But most importantly, it's meant to mature our everyday habits and mindset. Number 1, set time aside for self-reflection. Whether this be in the morning, afternoon, or before bed, being able to check in with yourself about your daily actions and thoughts makes a difference in your life. It doesn't have to be long. 2 to 3 minutes is my personal preference, twice a day. But remember, this time is for you and you only. Simply ask yourself, how am I feeling? And a follow-up question would be, why am I feeling like this? If you're a person completely unaware of your own feelings and emotions, typically you don't perform at your best because you're carrying around this amount of excess, low vibrational weight that does the opposite of lifting you up. It brings you down. This then becomes a ripple effect of more negative emotions, thoughts, and even actions throughout your day. But if you are aware of your own feelings and emotions, most likely it helps you to navigate a better, successful day ahead. I'm not saying you have to be super preppy, like you're on the pep squad, but it is important for you to feel lightweight and energetic about your day. Setting aside time for self-reflection is meant to serve as a beacon of light towards where you are in life in that specific moment. How are you feeling? Why are you feeling like that? These are simple questions that can open the door, if you allow it, to possible solutions about how to improve your energy when feeling misaligned, or how to maintain or increase your energy when feeling good. Whatever the route, you're bettering yourself by getting to know more about you. That's good for compounding spiritual interest, and it never does you any harm. Number 2, turn vice into victory. If not for my biggest vice of food indulgence, I would have never thought to add in this method. In 2022, I spent thousands on Uber Eats alone. I don't even want to say the exact number because I'm embarrassed, but not only would I then feel terrible about spending money, I then came to the realization of, if this food was made in a kitchen, why can't I learn how to make it myself? I turned my vice of the enjoyment from takeout food with victory by beginning my new hobby of cooking at home. I went down the rabbit hole, and I'm still going down that rabbit hole today in learning and trying new healthy recipes I can make at home. You guys, I even took it a step further to due diligence by learning how to make a home-cooked meal under $20 and how to eat healthy on a budget. Even after deleting the Uber Eats app, I pretended my kitchen was its own restaurant, and whatever I'm craving, I can make in my own kitchen. I can alter the recipe, and most importantly, I'm gaining new lifelong skills and teaching myself how to cook at home. What is your vice? How long have you had that vice for? And in what ways can you turn that vice into a victory move? Another example, say maybe you're a writer or a student and your vice is being too dependent on AI to write for you. Maybe you could enroll in a beginner-friendly creative writing class to learn how to utilize your brain muscles to become a better original writer. Or visit a local library to learn about their reading programs for adults wanting to improve on certain writing skills. Or like my video, you can watch YouTube videos and learn from that. If your vice is spending money on useless items that only take up more space in your home, turn that into a victory move by decluttering and categorizing items so you can start selling them. If your vice is complacency in your everyday life and you've lost that oomph, that feeling of newness towards life, then incorporate a new place to be once a week. Visit a new park. Visit a new location to your usual grocery store. Try a new restaurant, and if you don't know what to order, then allow the waiter to make a recommendation for you. Buy a new cologne or fragrance for yourself. Take yourself out on a solo movie date and watch a genre you typically wouldn't. I do this one a lot, which is really fun for me. But I believe complacency within your life is a vice because you're allowing yourself to stay stagnant in whatever situation you're in. Turning your vice into victory moves compounds your spiritual interest because you're gaining new tactics to break old bad habits. You're not meant to go back to the old you. This video is not meant to serve the old you. None of your vices worked, and none of them ever will, not in your favor. Figure out what your vice is and turn it into a victory move. Number 3. Divide yourself from diseases. Saving the best for numero 3 is so important to compound spiritual interest because if you are easy to access as a person, that means you're for everybody. We don't do that here. And if you're a subscriber or listener here on my channel, you need to know your time and energy matters. It matters to me, but most importantly, it has to matter to you. Dividing yourself from diseases means dividing yourself from daily irrelevancies screen-related. Scrolling through nonsense on social media platforms, subscribing to email lists you truly do not care about or forgot you even subscribed to, or searching up irrelevant topics about who knows what on your device. Divide yourself from these diseases because the more you begin to pour into your own cup rather than someone else's, the better. In the beginning, it may feel weird because you're not going to know what to do when suddenly you're bored, annoyed, or in an awkward situation, or at home dying for an escape mechanism, which is the reason you turn your screen on, right? Or better yet, alone in the bathroom wanting to use your screen as mental medicine. Yes, I know, mental medicine. Been there, done that. Dividing yourself from diseases allows you to realize the power of your own energy. You own you. The device does not own you, okay? Unsubscribe from email lists that you do not care about. Trust me, that company could care less about seeing you go because they're their own entity with millions of others to suck money from. One less would not matter in their eyes, so it shouldn't matter in yours either. Delete social media platforms that take up a lot of your time. Obviously, if it's business related, don't do that, but be mindful on how you utilize your time when using your computer or phone. Ever since deleting my Facebook back in 2013 and being off of Snapchat since 2021, if people still even use Snapchat, I don't know. But I can say removing myself from the world of social media and email lists has compounded my spiritual interest by then having more energy to learn about different cultures, increasing my confidence, reading, and even going back to school because I personally enjoy academics. You make room in your life for you. Even when I would be on social media for a few minutes or looking at a company's website I subscribe to, that amount of time, big or small, is still yours. You cannot get back. Like money and compounding interest, every penny counts. Same as with spiritual interest, every second counts. 15 minutes here and there, it adds up. And at the ending of the month, you could have easily spent around 7 or 8 hours just on nonsense. Because 15 minutes per day spent on nonsense multiplied by 30 days in a month is 450. Divided by 60 minutes in an hour, that's 7.5 hours. I'm being honest with you, but where else could you have given that energy to where it would have been appreciated or at least generated a new skill set? Not by scrolling and looking at irrelevant content, I can tell you that. Dividing yourself from diseases is not meant to stop all usage of technology. Because let's face it, y'all, in today's day and age, that would be close to impossible. Even the Amish use technology, you guys. But remembering your value as a person and your decision on how you generate your energy serves as important to compound spiritual interest. Setting time aside for self-reflection, turning your vice into victory, and dividing yourself from diseases were methods I have followed and still incorporate in my everyday life to compound spiritual interest. Honestly, it's never been easy, and there have been days and weeks and even months, you guys, to where I couldn't have cared less about self-improvement because I was the queen of toxicity, blaming, hating, resentment. But these methods allowed me to slowly recover from years of trauma and self-humiliation. Compounding spiritual interest is beneficial when taking baby steps because our actions affect the way that we move, the way we feel, the way that we think, and how we treat ourselves. It all starts with us. Don't make time and don't give time to irrelevancies because all they'll do is suck you till your energy is depleted. I want for anyone who's listening to succeed and thrive in success and life's bliss. But with that, means you have to change your ways and you got to put in some work too. Thank you for listening to today's video audio. 3 methods to compound spiritual interest. I'm Tenamane. Aloha and take care.